what we're going to do right now is rank the AFC, okay? It's not like 1 through 15, and it's also not including the Bills. So the Bills will not be involved. This is just looking around the rest of the AFC, what we think. We put the teams into 4 buckets, and we'll go one at a time here through the groups and kind of assess who we think is in the group, maybe, who's better and worse within the group if you want a little bit. But so the first one we're going to start with is just the teams that are absolutely no threat. Their seasons are over. The Bills should not care about them at all. Maybe they come up with some ridiculous run later and get into contention, but these are teams that have no absolute worry that they're causing the Buffalo Bills. I'll let you go first. Just give me, we're not going to talk about these too long. Just give me your list.
I got 5. I'm going to go the Tennessee Titans, the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins, the Cleveland Browns, sorry, Rachel, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Those are my 5. Absolutely no threat. I see no reason why they're even going to be sniffing the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree I'm with you on 4 or 5. Okay. I had Cincinnati in this instead of the Raiders. So I just think
you have Cincinnati in
yes,
it.
Their quarterback situation
We're gonna have a conversation later.
And their offensive line is so bad, they are absolutely zero concern.
Okay.
Because Joe Burrow, I don't think is going to play this year at all. So okay. I don't. And look, the division they play in, even the Browns are a pain in the neck for them because the Browns defense is that good. So from the Bills' point of view, Cincinnati is zero threat. All right. Next category. This is kind of the one we labeled the most creatively. So these are teams that we think are not going to make the playoffs, but it's kind of a hot take that might get thrown on our face later on this season. I'm going to go first here. Okay. I only had 3 in this bucket. Okay. Chargers, not going to the playoffs.
Wow.
Jacksonville, not going to the playoffs. And I had the Raiders in this one.
And you have the Raiders in that one? Okay.
Now, the Raiders are the easiest. These are the Raiders are the coldest of the hot takes. Mm-hmm. But here's my thing. With the Chargers, their offensive line is so beat up. I know it's Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. But you've seen what happens to them when they cannot use that offensive line as a weapon. They just really have not been good in the last couple of weeks. That Rashawn Slater's not coming back at all this year. Joe Alt might be back, but for a month and a half. But by then, especially in that division they got to play in, I think they'll be 4-7, and it won't matter. So I've got the Chargers out of the playoffs. The Jags one is simple, and I know they just beat the Chiefs. They have 14 forced turnovers this year. How did they beat that Kansas City team on Monday night? It all came down to a pick 6 at the goal line, which, look, it was a good defensive play. It wasn't lucky. But at some point, they're on pace right now to force, what would it be? Literally 40-something turnovers. That does not happen in the NFL.
No.
So that number is going to dial back. Now, do they miss the playoffs? I might be reaching a little there. But I don't trust Trevor Lawrence in a big spot. I think they're kind of messy on offense. The defense is good, but I don't think Jacksonville goes to the playoffs.
All right. So I'm going to start with the Houston Texans.
Okay.
I have the Houston Texans and I have the Baltimore Ravens.
All right.
As my hot take, no playoffs. For the Ravens, I think they're just so banged up and I think they're just so behind the 8 ball right now already that I could see them just completely missing. Even if everyone comes back healthy, there are still some games on their schedule that they could definitely lose. This coming up week at the Rams, or I believe it's this week at the Rams. That's one that they could definitely lose. They could easily fall to 1-5. And I don't remember their exact schedule, but I went down and looked at it, and they have quite a few that are they could lose that even with Lamar. Just thinking that if they're already 2-6 or something, or 3-7, you're looking at they definitely could be in a spot where they're already out pretty early. And then for the Texans, again, the same thing. I think they're behind the 8 ball with the Colts and the Jaguars. I think the Colts and the Jags are off to such a hot start that I don't think, with the way that CJ Stroud has been playing and the way that this team the defense looks good, but the offense hasn't really been clicking yet for the Texans. And I think that the way that the Colts and Jags are playing, they're just not going to be able to catch up. So those are my 2 hot take no playoff teams.
So Baltimore, I'm going to fight you hard on Baltimore.
Okay.
Yes, the Rams, they can lose their 1-5. After that, Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals. So they can easily be 7-5.
Are they going to be healthy though?
Does it matter?
I think so.
If Lamar Jackson's playing in those 6 games,
I think it matters if the defense is healthy, yes.
Who is beating Baltimore if Lamar Jackson plays among Chicago, Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, Jets, Cincinnati?
Say that one more time.
Chicago, Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, Jets, Cincinnati.
I think Cleveland could sneak one. I think I'm serious. I think Cleveland could sneak one.
I know they could, but like
I think Minnesota could sneak one if they're healthy. I think the Bears could sneak one
with
possibly.
JJ McCarthy.
With JJ McCarthy. I'm telling you, if the defense isn't good, I'm not worried about Lamar Jackson coming back in. I'm worried about this defense looking incredibly banged up to the point where I think even JJ McCarthy could put up points on them. Yes,
that's way more.
Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze.
That's way more a Baltimore take than an opponent's take. All right.
Hey, we labeled it hot take, no playoffs for a reason.
All right. We're running a little late on time here. Okay. The next one is teams that are going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they knock the Bills out of the playoffs. In the playoffs, give me your group there.
This is where I have the Bengals. I think the Bengals will figure it out. I think Joe Flacco's good enough to do something there. And if Joe Burrow is able to come back for the last couple games, if he does, I think he'll help push that. So I have the Bengals sneaking in, but not being a threat. And then I have the Colts, the Jags. You kind of talked about the Jags. I think they're just so far ahead right now where they'll make it, but I don't think they're going to be anything crazy. And then I have the Steelers and the Broncos. Steelers just because the rest of that division is kind of I have the Ravens not making it. Someone has to make it from that division.
Yes.
So I have the Steelers there. And then I have the Broncos because I think they're good, but the Bills whooped up on them last year in the playoffs, and I see no real reason why they shouldn't again if they have to face them this year.
So I put Houston, Pittsburgh, and Indy in this group, and I think we both had Pittsburgh and Indy, right?
Yes.
Yep. Houston I have in. I think the defense is good enough for them to still be a threat, and I don't buy the Jags, as I pointed out, so that's why I put them there. I have New England in this spot, but if they make a trade for another nice piece, somebody in the middle of their defense, or maybe another really good weapon, Alvin Kamara, for example, then I might bump them up to the next category. But for now, I've got them in the playoffs, but I don't think they knock the Bills out in the postseason. Fair?
I think that is very fair, yeah.
All right. Final category. Could end the Bills season. Teams that we think in the AFC could knock Buffalo out in the playoffs. I have Denver. And look, I almost didn't put them in this for all the things you said. I don't feel like Bo Nix is good enough, but I think the defense, and look, they're 3-2. They should be 4-1. They lost to the Colts on a stupid field goal penalty that had nothing to do with nothing. So they should be 4-1. They just beat Philly. I think they can beat the Bills in the playoffs.
To your point, the Broncos are the highest in my in my bottom category. They are the highest up, so yes.
So Denver, Kansas City, who, look, I know they're 2-3, but I'll tell you what.
It's always a threat.
Losing Monday night, I was more impressed with the Chiefs than the Jags. Not that the Jags played well. The Chiefs' offense is trending up.
Yes.
And they get Rashee Rice back.
Yes.
And if they get in the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes having stuff, you don't want to see them on the other side. The last team I have, you're going to go nuts. Baltimore Ravens. If they are healthy and get to the playoffs, they can knock Buffalo out.
You're right. If they are healthy, and I agree with what you're saying. I don't think they make it to the playoffs. I don't think they get to that point. I agree that if they sneak in, it's scary, but I just don't think they're able to sneak in.
Give me your real threats.
So my real threats are the Chiefs, just like you said. I put the Patriots in that category.
Not unreasonable.
You had them down there. I just think, I agree with what you said. I didn't even think about that, like making a big trade. But the reason mine is Drake May is on the up. He is really trending up. And I think that by the end of the season, come playoff time, he could be a bigger threat than he already seems to be. And then for the final one, I have the Chargers. Where did you have them in?
I had them hot take, not making the playoffs.
You had them in your hot take. I have them as a threat. I think they're still very good. I think Justin Herbert is really good. I think this offense is starting to click. I think the rookie running back just went out, but obviously he'll be back in time for that. And I think the defense is starting to show some stuff that they haven't really shown in the past years. And I think that they will be full go come playoff time. So those are my three: the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the New England Patriots.
The one thing about the Chargers too that kind of kept them lower for me is the Chargers. And like Charger things already happening.
That's a good point.
You know, they're getting injuries, important guys are already getting knocked out. Marion Hampton's out, Lyman are out. This is what the Chargers do.
It is.
But 3 weeks ago, I would put them in the top category right with you. All right, that was fun. We are back in tomorrow with all kinds of Bills news from Orchard Park. For Caleb Carr, I'm Thad Brown. Thanks for watching BKL Nightly. We will see you again tomorrow.